Finally back into the garage after not being able to touch this thing for like a month at least. Actually, it's been a month and a half since I've worked on the rally car, which is kind of seamless to you guys because obviously videos come out kind of slowly. But I managed to clean up my garage some, which is pretty rare for me. I actually have a path right here to the exit of my garage. And I almost have a workbench again after slowly going through stuff, throwing away a bunch of things in the garage. But we're gonna try to knock out a few things on the car. And yes, my wife's gonna come out and help me. So yeah, we're gonna have some fun working on the car. Probably gonna come up with some way to mount the bumpers a little bit better. I bought some of those spring clips that I have. We're gonna be throwing some of those on the bumper to try to hold up the edges instead of doing those Ricer X things. Not really Ricer, I guess a lot of drift guys do it because it is an easy way to like put your bumper back on after it rips off, but that's only good for like one use because after it rips again, you're just gonna rip right through your bumper. So we're gonna try to mount that. Probably do the spoiler today too that I've got, the duckbill spoiler, so we're gonna be riveting that on, and probably try to do some rear mud flaps on the car too, so that way like the rear end can be completely done and we can move on to other stuff. And I do have everything to do the brake lines, so we might bleed the brakes too. This car might actually be able to roll around under its own power and stop under its own power too, which is also nice because a while ago we were trying to push it out to clean it, and because it doesn't have any brakes, it really didn't go well, and it almost ended up rolling into another car. That was exciting, but the e-brake still works, which is good that I kept that. So yeah, we're gonna get started on this thing and hopefully knock out a few of the stuff on my list to do before SDPR. So these are the pieces that I was actually talking about. Obviously, if you saw my other video where I threw up the bumper back on, I installed these on the trunk. These are different ones. I got these on Amazon. I think they were like 10 bucks for a pack, so relatively cheap. About the same price as like getting those bumper ties where they're just like rubber bands, and those don't really hold it, so that's why I went with these. It's kind of ghetto, but I mean the car's got rust here anyway, so who really cares anyway? And it will hold it up, and I can actually adjust the tension. And it'll look different, I guess. Hopefully okay. Hopefully not too weird, but we'll see. So the plan is we're just gonna drill some holes in the bumper here and here, mount the pieces, mount the actual spring clip to the bumper, and then mount the hook portion right there to the quarter panel of the car. And we're just gonna use rivets. Be a lot easier. It comes with rivets too, and I'll probably just use those. I've got some, but we'll probably just use those. So I guess we'll start up by mocking them up and figure out exactly where we want them, and then drill all the holes. One's done. We're gonna hop over to the other side real quick, and they're not terrible. So obviously not much side to side, but it's pretty sturdy for up and down. Definitely better than those like rubber ties that you rivet on, and then you pretty much just are using a rubber band to hold that, keeping it from bumper sagging. But I mean, the bad thing, if you have a car that you like your paint, this is gonna tear up your paint. So I wouldn't recommend doing that. I mean, obviously I don't care if I get scratches because this car's in terrible condition anyway, so that's not a big deal, but this spring would definitely tear up your paint, so I wouldn't recommend that if you have a nice car. And it's hokey looking, but we'll knock out the other side real quick and then move on to probably riveting on the spoiler next, since I just dropped it, knocked it off the car. Hopefully it didn't break. Didn't even look at it. Both sides are completely done. The only thing that I have to do to actually finish the bumper off is mount it down here, and it just gets a bolt on the lower portion into the car, and that's going to make the bumper a lot more sturdy. It's actually a lot better, but this is kind of pulling it too far forward now, so it doesn't line up. But once I mount it, it'll actually pull it back where it's supposed to, kind of like that. I also taped up the spoiler while she was doing that, and measured it all out, so it should be good, exactly where it's supposed to go. Going to be using larger rivets on this, so I need to get a drill bit that size and just start probably both ends, one in the middle too, and then probably 4 rivets on the top, 4 rivets on the bottom, and then it'll be fully marked up, which I am just going to use shiny ones. You can get different colored if you order them online, but they don't really sell those in stores and whatever. I don't feel like waiting, so it's not that big of a deal. If like you want to get black ones to blend in with this, you can. I'm not going to be painting the spoiler since it is flat black already and it kind of matches the rest of the car. I don't really feel like going through all the work. It is primer, but not a big deal. It'll be fine. It's fiberglass. It'll probably last longer than the car will with the way I drive. So, what are you laughing at?
You.
Anyway, we're going to be breaking out the rivets, so I got to go find a drill bit. I'll stop rambling and get back to work. Alright, there it is. It's going to be hard to see because it's going to get blown out with kind of mixing super bright with kind of dark. So we'll look at it from this side. It didn't come out too bad. It took a couple tries. I needed some longer rivets, but I still sent it with these. So it kept snapping off like whether there was still an inch left rather than like how a normal rivet is, where it snaps off like halfway down, like where the actual rivet is pinching. I think it was just because it wasn't actually long enough, like the base part that actually pinches it. Probably needed like the 6mm ones. These are only 3, and it probably would have worked out a little bit better, but it's pretty sturdy, so I think it's fine. And my spacing didn't come out perfectly and I kind of gouged it, but yeah, like all things on this car, and I say all the time, probably not the right answer, but it is a rally car, so I probably don't take as long as I should to make sure that things like this turn out looking as best as they can. So we got both sides done on the bumper, spoilers mounted. I think next step is we're going to throw on the rear mud flaps. I gotta go get a haircut real quick. Probably gonna come back with about 1 pound less hair too, so that's good. Well, I'm back with no hair, and we didn't actually start working on the car, but we're out the next day and we're gonna get started on it. Oh, she's crossing stuff off the list, which is exciting. We're gonna knock out the brake line that we have to do from the hydro to the rear brakes, since that line kind of got messed up. So we're going to teach her how to make some AN fittings. That should be fun. They're pretty easy to make, so she should have an easy time, right?
Yes.
All we're doing is going from here on the master cylinder. As you can see, I already got this hard line. So if you didn't see that video, I made this hard line, but then the fitting that actually goes into the hydro stripped out, so you can't use it. And I got some fittings to just make a flex line anyway. So that's the plan. Make a flex line that goes from here all the way to the back T right there. And yeah, we're gonna have her do it real quick. Which goggles you want? Okay. Cool one. Oh man, I can't see anything. Thanks. So, just go down the middle of it.
You're gonna move your hands a lot.
Over that end. Maybe.
Ow!
You gotta go on.
I'm getting things on me.
Yeah, it happens. You're an angle grinder.
Move your hand. Ow.
Cut it on the short side of the tape. Oh well.
Oh dear.
We did leave extra, so that's fine. As long as we don't mess up. Alright.
What do I tell you about checking?
Alright, so
Well,
here's...
this is gonna be long enough.
If not, you're the one who measured and cut.
You don't know, tell me where to cut it.
Alright, one brake line done. I didn't do anything. And I'm sweating profusely just standing here.
Good old North Carolina.
Need to find the fittings. I don't know where that with them. The ones I just bought. Somewhere in the mess. Once we find the fittings though, we'll just throw this in real quick. We shouldn't have to, we didn't even measure it, but I'll just find room. If it's too long, we'll just find room.
I don't think it's going to be too long.
Yeah, should be plenty long enough. And they shouldn't leak. These things go together really easily, as you can see. That was our first time ever doing one of those. And they go together super easy. So definitely worth it to make your own, and way cheaper to make your own too. So as far as fittings, this is what we've got. We've got this, which is a -3 to a normal 3/8, which is that T in the back, or 3. I think it's 3/8. Just a normal standard brake line flare for like an American car, because that's what that T is. Normal flares on this car are bubble flares that are 10 millimeter, but obviously most of the stuff that they sell in stores is for an American car, so it's easier for like off-the-shelf parts. So that's all we're going to do. Use this to go to the T. And then this is what's actually meeting up with the hydro, which it's really long and it's going to stick out kind of awkwardly, but that's because the hydro has really long threads, because it has like this, which is pretty long, and standard for like a -3 is only that long, so it's not long enough to actually fully seat in there, as you can see. So it's just super easy to get one of these, which is, this is a bulkhead fitting, so it can actually finish and thread in all the way and seat all the way. So we're gonna throw this into the hydro real quick, and then we can tighten up the rest of it. Brake line is in and done. We still have to test it for leaks once we actually start bleeding it, but it's pretty good. The only thing left to do with it is actually secure it with some like hose attachment pieces, things that I've got. And then once we do that, we should be good. I'm gonna jack up the car now, pull the wheels off, and then we're gonna start bleeding the brakes. And all the wheels are off, so we're ready to actually get started. And today, we're gonna switch roles. I'm going to be the one pumping, and she's going to be the one cracking all the bleeders loose. And yes, I'm going to launch brake fluid everywhere. It's only because my garage is nasty and I don't feel like finding a hose. But I'm going to get started. Got to fill up the reservoir first, and then start pumping over 100 times. Isn't that what we said last time? Alright, we're done. It's crazy hot out, and yeah, I'm covered in sweat. But brakes are bled, no leaks. That's awesome when that happens. So she did well on her first brake line that she made. So yeah, I just have to secure it, and I've got those little things like the rubber grommets that you screw in, and those will actually secure it, and I'll do that later. She's got to go to work. I got to go do other stuff anyway. So happy that the brakes are fully bled on this thing. They're done. Car runs. It could actually drive if I had seats in it right now. Yeah, so we'll try to get it running and actually driving pretty soon, because I'd like to. It's been a while since this thing hasn't been driven at all. But yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed the video of us working together awkwardly on camera. We're still trying to like figure out how we act.
I don't know how to do the camera. Yeah.
No, we're both weird when it comes to filming. It is weird when you initially start filming yourself doing stuff, because you're just talking to a device, and
I've only been in your videos with food.
I know, but it is a lot easier when there's actually more people and there's like commenting. So I mean, that's cool, and it definitely adds a lot more, and makes it more personable when you're actually making the videos, rather than like I'm making them for my mom to watch. Who's probably one of my biggest supporters who watched it. If she actually watches this one, she'll get a kick out of that.
Well, there is that one guy.
No, he doesn't comment anymore, so yeah. He
doesn't want to
disappeared.
wear your skin anymore. And take.
Alright, so with that, we'll end it. And so yeah, appreciate it guys. We'll see you with whatever video we got coming out next.